are things
thing,
about it that I appreciate.
yeah,
There are things about it that, I mean, I'm not a Protestant, I'm not a religious person, but I think that there was a break from Catholicism that was necessary for certain things to happen, and for America to happen, for Canada to happen. I mean, Scottish Presbyterians created this country.
It's the same idea, right? I think it's like, sure, maybe it's like you can confess and your sins go away or not, but I think it's the idea of church is almost like this way to cleanse the palate,
Yeah.
right? So they're sort of tied. It's kind of like you can do whatever you want and be bad and hate this person, hate that person, but as long as you go to church on Sundays and someone says, you need to do better next week, they're like, okay. It's like it's just a way to like release all the guilt from the shitty life and all the shitty things that you do. But as long as on Sunday you don't kill black people, it's all good.
I think one of the important factors in most religions is its ability to organize the tribe, to prevent the tribe from doing what human beings usually do, which is slaughter the crap out of each other. It's great at socializing an in-group and defining an out-group. The religions that I'm mostly respected that are those that are saying everyone's on the inside. But I think with as far as what's going on now is concerned, outside of the religious aspects, what's really lowering my it's sinking me into more despair than I want, and that is regardless of the outcome, whether Trump remains in power or not, the structures that he's put in place are going to be almost impossible to dismantle, and that rancor that is now part of his base's identity. I mean, they actually identify with rancor. Is good luck with bringing any all-inclusive policies in, right? Policies that will deal with issues like global warming, that'll deal with resource issues. That's going to be a hard slog.
You know what? Like, and this is something based on somebody I met in St. Louis, who I was doing a play down there, and he introduced himself. He said, "Andrew, I'd like to introduce myself to you. I used to be a racist, and my father raised me to be a racist, and it wasn't until when I was in high school, Martin Luther King was going to march through town, and there were these high school students who went around to white high schools to talk to white students, and that was it. That's all they had to do." So one of his teachers, and I wish to God I could remember this man's name. I can see his face right now. But one of this guy's teachers says, "You, kid, you're going to talk to these black kids." And he's like, "Why? I don't want to talk to no N-word." And he's like, no, listen, you're going to sit down, you're going to talk to these kids. So he sat down in front of these two kids who were like around his age. And the two black students said, "Okay, so do you have any questions for us at all? Just ask any question you like. Don't worry about it. You can say whatever you like." And the guy said, "Yeah, why didn't you black people fight in the First World War?" And the students were like, Second World War. And the students were like, "You know what? At this table, we don't have the information to answer that question. So our assignment is going to be, we're going to leave this table and we're going to meet next week. And we're going to see if we can look up information to answer that question." And so these two, and so this guy was like, "Yeah, sure, whatever, man." And so he went to the library, did some research, and these other black kids came back with research, and they said, "Well, actually, people of color did fight in the Second World War, and these are the people and these are the heroes who died, and is there any other questions you have?" And they started a dialogue. And through this dialogue, this kid realized that his dad was evil, and he really hated the hatred that his dad instilled in him. So he ran away from home, joined the military, worked all over the world, worked with people of all different colors, and he came back a completely changed person. And I tell this story to say, look, that's ultimately the solution. Like, whether you like it or not, like, I know we started off talking about Donald Trump holding a Bible in front of a church. That's a PR stunt that he's pulling for his base, and they'll love it or whatever. But ultimately, the most dangerous thing to Trump is someone sitting down with his followers and just calmly speaking reason, slowly and patiently, and just and
Very
incessantly.
slowly.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm not buying that.
dude,
not
that's
buying
the only solution.
Yeah, but it's not a solution.
Who's
You're talking about transitioning one person at a time.
yeah,
When
yeah.
you have hundreds of thousands
yeah,
that are in denial of what you're saying. I'm saying
yeah.
it ain't happening.
Look, I agree with both of the black guys on this podcast.
Yeah, but we don't want you to talk.
Yeah, could you stop talking?
You're not.
Finally,
You're
my
kind of
end.
there, but
Look, I think that is the solution, but it's also like, who's going to do that? You know, it's like now we're in this society where everybody's at each other's throats. You know, it's like my friend called me crying today because it's just vitriol everywhere on the news, on Facebook. You go, you know, it's like I went outside to get milk, and there were 3 young black women with Black Lives Matter signs walking by, and then an older white homeless guy was like, all lives matter.
Mhm.
I'm like, fuck, man. Like, there's a metaphor for the world today.
And you know what? Sorry, go ahead.
I love. Well, I used to love the Hollywood version of human interaction, or what we put out there is an answer. If that was the answer, if anything that we talk about was the answer, do you think in the hundreds of thousands of years of human civilization, I think you're discounting the brilliance of our ancestors by suggesting that, well, they were primitive, they were incapable of coming out. No, this is what we are. We've never come up with a solution for this shit. And I totally agree with you. We must. It's absolutely necessary to our survival. I'm just saying, man, we've been trying shit for a long time.